Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video I thought we could talk about the main protagonist of the series, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, before we get into it, I just want to put a disclaimer here that we will be talking up to Whole Cake Island about Luffy, because I thought that Wano, there's only like an extra little couple things that could be added, and I thought I could make like another video after like Wano and stuff like that happens, so I can make like one afterwards. And then we haven't really gone through the whole of Wano yet, so I thought it'd be better just to go up to Whole Cake Island and then see where we're at after Wano. So obviously that means that if you don't want any spoilers, then don't watch this video, because I talk about pretty much everything. So if you haven't watched like up to Marineford, don't watch this video or anything like that, okay? So anyway, let's just get into the video. We first meet Luffy in the first chapter of One Piece and the first episode of the anime. The first time we see Luffy differs from anime to manga. In the manga, we see him in Fuchsia Village when he first meets Shanks for the first time, and then in the anime, we meet him on Alvida's ship when he's in a barrel. Luffy was born in Fuchsia Village. His dad is the leader of the Revolutionary Army and the most wanted man, Monkey D. Dragon. We still don't know about Luffy's mum, since it hasn't been confirmed, or Oda hasn't even really spoken about Luffy's mum, so she might not even be like a big person in the series. But there are some theories that Crocodile is Luffy's mum, and Ivankov turned him into a woman. And obviously, Luffy's dream, we find out in like the first episode that he wants to become king of the pirates. Because Luffy's dad is such an infamous criminal, he never knew who his dad was when he was growing up. He only got told who his dad was by his granddad when he was about 17. So since his dad wasn't around, he got raised by two significant people. The first being Makino, a waitress at a pub in his hometown, and when the time came, his granddad moved him to the other person who raised him, which is Dadan, a mountain bandit. His granddad, obviously Garp, did come and raise him a couple times, like he would like teach him how to fight and that he wanted him to be a marine. But he wasn't there all the time because he was in the Navy and he was a vice admiral, so he was high up and he had to do his Navy jobs. While he was being raised by Makino, he met his hero, Redhead Shanks, who is now one of the emperors of the sea. This was also the time when he ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or in English is called the Gum Gum fruit. This is how we know Luffy today as being a rubber human. Because of him eating the fruit, it basically just turned him into rubber, so he can stretch his body out, and any part of his body he can stretch. Confirmed by Oda, the creator of the series. And while he was being raised by Dadan, he met his two brothers, who aren't actually related to him by blood, but the first one being Sabo, who is the number 2 of the Revolutionary Army, and Ace, who was Whitebeard, one of the other Emperor of the Sea's 2nd Division commander. But when Luffy was 7 years old, Sabo died, and this event made Luffy and Ace decide to set out to sea when they turned 17. So because Ace was 3 years older than Luffy, Ace had to set out to sea before him. During these 10 years, Luffy would get more efficient in using his devil fruit, to the point where he could accurately hit someone from a long distance away. We get to see how strong Luffy has become by Luffy hitting the Lord of the Coast and knocking it out with one hit. And the Lord of the Coast is the one that took Shanks' arm, so I know Shanks didn't really try against the Lord of the Coast, but it still did take Shanks' arm, so that is kind of like a little tiny feat. He then sets out to sea on his own, and later on he will form the Straw Hat Pirates. The first person he picks up to join his crew is the pirate hunter Roronoa Zoro, who he picks up on Shell Island while he defeats Axe-Hand Morgan. The next person he picks up is Nami, who technically doesn't join the crew yet, but they sail together from Orange Town, the place where they defeated Buggy. They then arrive at Syrup Village to pick up the marksman for their crew, Usopp. He is the second person to join the crew, and this is where they get their ship, and they travel with the ship for over 300 episodes. They defeat Captain Kuro on this island and then set off to Baratie, where they meet the chef of their crew, Sanji. While they get in Sanji, Nami runs away with their ship. So when they go to get Nami back, they have to defeat Arlong, who has Nami's hometown basically captured and is in control of the whole town. Luffy defeats Arlong, and then he gets his first bounty of the series, which is 30 million berries. Luffy meets his dad for a couple seconds, but because Luffy doesn't know who his dad was, he doesn't know that that was his dad, and he meets him just before he goes into the Grand Line. But before we get into the Grand Line, I thought I could share a fun fact about Luffy, and that is that Luffy's birthday is the 5th of May. So now Luffy leaves the East Blue and heads into the Grand Line, where they pick up Vivi, who they have to save her country from being taken over by Crocodile, one of the warlords of the sea. On the way to Vivi's village, they pick up their doctor, who is also a reindeer, called Chopper. When Luffy gets to Vivi's country, he loses to Crocodile twice. Then Luffy finally defeats him, the first Logia Luffy has defeated in the series. After defeating him, the world government gives Luffy a bounty of 100 million. This is because Crocodile was very strong, he had a Logia, and he was a warlord of the sea. And after defeating Crocodile, Luffy picks up the 6th member of the Straw Hat Pirates called Nico Robin, who can read the poneglyphs that will help Luffy to become the Pirate King. And now another fun fact is that Luffy is an ambassador of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, even though that would be the 2021 Olympics now, because I think they're doing it in 2021 now. Not much happens to Luffy at Skypiea. He just defeats Enel, who is the second Logia of the series that he defeats, and then they head over to Water 7. And at Water 7, he realizes he isn't strong enough to keep his crew safe when he gets defeated easily by CP9. So he creates 2 new moves, Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. He defeats CP9 and destroys one of the 3 government islands. This gives Luffy a massive bounty increase to 300 million, so extra 200 million berries onto his normal one. And this is the highest known bounty at this point of the series. And then Luffy picks up another member of the crew, Frankie, who is now going to be the shipwright. And they set off to Sabidi Archipelago. Now let's have another fun Luffy fact, and that is that his favourite colour is red, and I didn't know that when I was making this video, so I thought that was a cool fact. While on the way to Sabidi Archipelago, the crew find themselves at Thriller Park, where they have to defeat the 2nd Wall of the Sea, Gecko Moria. But after they defeat him, it is kept a secret from the world because the world government doesn't want it to get out. So Luffy's bounty doesn't increase after this point. But they do pick up another crew member called Brook, who is a skeleton. When they get to Sabidi Archipelago, this is when Luffy's first defeat comes. He meets the king of the pirates' right-hand man, Rayleigh, who becomes Luffy's trainer later on. Luffy knocks out a celestial dragon. This in turn makes Admiral of the Navy, Kizaru, have to come and deal with Luffy and his crew. But they do get saved by Rayleigh and Warlord of the Sea, Bartholomew Kuma, who sends Luffy and his crew into different directions all the way across the world. Luffy gets sent to Amazon Lily, where he meets Boa Hancock, who is another Warlord of the Sea. And at Amazon Lily, he finds out that his brother Ace is to be executed at Marineford. So after finding that out, Luffy travels to Impel Down to try and break Ace out before the day of his execution, but he misses Ace by a few minutes. So because he's made his way all the way into the Impel Down, which is like a massive prison that no one has, or one person has broken out of in the history of it being made, Luffy has to find his way out of it, and so he breaks out with basically every single prisoner that's in the prison. I think they only leave like the people that are down on level 6 in there, and they have to break out with everyone else. Now this is the second time anyone's ever broken out of Impel Down, and it's such a massive scale breakout that it does increase Luffy's bounty after Marineford. So Luffy heads over to Marineford to try and get Ace back, where he meets Whitebeard, because Whitebeard wants to try and save Ace, because obviously Ace is part of Whitebeard's crew. So Whitebeard brings all of his fleets and starts a war with the world government, but sadly their plan to save Ace fails. Luffy breaks Ace out of his chains, and as they were running to their ship, they get stopped by Akainu. Ace turns around to face Akainu and sadly doesn't win the fight and passes away. Now, I promise you that I didn't cry so much during this bit that it gave me a headache and I had to go to sleep, okay? I promise you that did not happen. After losing his brother in his arms, Luffy then passes out and can't move, so he has to be saved by everyone else to try and get out of Marineford. This is when Luffy gets his massive scar on his chest because Akainu punches through Jinbei to try and get to Luffy and marks his chest with a massive X. After Marineford, Luffy's bounty does go up an extra 100 million. So now his bounty is sitting at a nice 400 million. Fun fact about Luffy after Marineford is that he has PTSD and survivor's guilt from surviving Marineford. It's a bit darker than the other fun facts, but yeah, there you go. Luffy trains with Rayleigh after this because he realizes that he's not strong enough to defeat the strong opponents of the world, especially since he's going to be going into the new world, and that's where all the strongest people are. Luffy trains for 2 years on his own with Rayleigh, where he learns how to use Haki, all 3 forms of it. So observation Haki, Conqueror's Haki, and Color of arms haki. After the 2 years, Luffy sets off to Fishman Island after meeting his crew, where he meets one of the ancient weapons, Poseidon, which was born in a mermaid princess where she can control the Sea Kings. This basically gives Luffy the ability to use an ancient weapon since they're friends and Shirahoshi does stuff for Luffy. So now Luffy has one of the powers to destroy the whole world. After Fishman Island, Luffy goes to Punk Hazard and creates an alliance with Law, one of the other people from the worst generation. They create an alliance to take out Doflamingo and then take out Kaido. They then travel to Dressrosa to take Doflamingo out. After they take him out, Luffy's bounty goes up an extra 500 million, and this is when we also get to see Luffy's new technique, Gear 4th. Gear 4th is a very strong technique where it basically just makes him very elasticated, very fast, and be able to hit really hard. Another fun fact about Luffy is that he has the voice of all things. This ability grants Luffy special hearing, which allows him to understand the speech of ancient animals. Now, after defeating Doflamingo, Luffy travels to Zou, where he learns about the road poneglyphs, which will get Luffy to become the king of the pirates, because then he'll be able to go to Rough Tail. After getting to Zou, Luffy finds out that Sanji has been taken by Big Mom, taken to her castle in Whole Cake Island. Now, this is very bad because Big Mom is one of the emperors of the sea, so she's one of the strongest people in the whole series, and she has this massive territory that Luffy has to then sneak into and get Sanji back because he can't fight Big Mom on his own. So he takes a few members of his crew and a few other people to try and get Sanji back. He sneaks into her territory, destroys her castle, takes down 2 of her division commanders, and escapes with Sanji. While fighting Katakuri, who is one of her division commanders, he learns how to use Future Sight, where basically he can see a few seconds into the future. After breaking out of Big Mom's territory, he is then declared the 5th Emperor of the Sea and is given a bounty of 1.5 billion berries, and he sets off to Wano. Now that is going to be it for the video, just because I didn't want to get into Wano stuff just because we haven't really seen all of Wano yet, and I think it would be better to talk about Wano after it's all happened. So we'll be getting into Wano later on in like next year or something like that. But if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, please subscribe to the channel, it means so much to me, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you did enjoy, and peace.